Recent surveys reveal a staggering reality. An overwhelming majority of adults feel stressed during the holiday season. And this isn't a little bit of stress for so many, it's a level of burnout so intense that a reported 40% have considered quitting their jobs because of it. So if you feel like you're at the end of your rope, just know that you're in the majority. This feeling of being completely overwhelmed isn't your fault. It's a direct result of the trap. But what if I told you there's a way out? Not a quick fix, but a series of truths. Seven powerful foundational truths that once you really get into them, they will start to dismantle the pressure of this trap. These aren't just tips, they're perspective shifts. They're permission slips to finally breathe into your holiday, to get your peace back, and to find your own kind of joy in a season that has felt maybe like it belongs to everyone else but you. In today's podcast, we're going to walk through those seven truths together, and I'm going to give you practical tools to get you started. I've also created a free 34-page download called the 7-Day Stress Reset. And I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. And when we finish, you won't just understand, you will feel equipped. And so, with that being said, guess what? We're going to get right to it. What's up? What's up, everybody? I am so glad to see you. You are inside of Stress Talk Live. This is the place where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution-focused self-care. I'm your host, Marcyline Bailey, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. I have a lot going on, you all, and I'm so glad that you're here because I also have a lot to share with you. And I'm going to hopefully share that with you in just a moment. Let's see. Let me get myself set up here. You know, I always have to play around with my notes, but we're going to hop right into it in just a moment. Okay, so let's see. Let's get it started here. First of all, I am broadcasting to Facebook as well as to YouTube at Emma Bailey Consultants. If you like what you see, hit that like button and also subscribe because I have some good stuff to share with you. Today, also, you'll see a QR code at the top or somewhere on your screen. Make sure that you scan that QR code and that will take you directly to the channel. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about being overwhelmed. And this is the time of year that many of us are overwhelmed. And yes, this is targeting women. However, the tips, the information can be used by anyone. It can be used by anyone. Okay. So while we really focus on women who are over 40 with some specific targeted information, this information is for anybody. Anyone can use this information to help themselves lower their stress levels. So, are you overwhelmed this season? I'm going to share with you 7 simple actions to help you gain control or regain control of yourself during the holiday season. Now, One of the things that I also want to share with you is that as I was putting this together, I realized that there's a lot of information that I am sharing. And because of that, this is going to be a two-parter, two parts. Sometimes I do that because there's too much. So I'm just letting you know this is part one. Okay, part one. And we'll do the second part at a later day. So, what are we talking about? Being overwhelmed and the 7 strategies that I'm going to share with you. But here's a myth that I want to share with you first. First of all, perfect is a myth. Perfection is a myth. It's a myth, you all. We strive to be perfect because those are the images that we see every day. When we look at social media, everybody on there, most of the people on there look really good. I mean, they are like gorgeous, right? They're gorgeous. They're put together. Their clothes are just right. Their makeup is just so. Their hair is just so. They are perfect. Some of them use filters. Some of them have makeup people who help them, right? Some of them have stylists who help them. Everyday people don't have all of that. But it's not just social media. It's also television, what we see on TV, what we're seeing in magazines. When you look at a cover of a Vogue magazine, everybody who's on that cover is on point. But think about all of the people who have to get them together in order to look just like that. Any other magazine, if you're looking at magazines that target homes, those homes are immaculate. They're pristine. Well, if you're living in a home, it's not going to be pristine, right? That something's going to be out of place. But the idea is that a lot of the things that we see we perceive them as being perfect. And because of that, we have an idea or a thought that we have to be perfect as well. We have social media that tells us we have to be perfect. We have our family expectations around the holidays and throughout the year, but especially around the holidays that tell us we have to be perfect. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses, our neighbors who we perceive as being perfect and all put together. And then we have our own high standards, those standards that keep us striving for something that is very, very hard. Perfection. Perfection. Hello there, Rebecca Esmeralda. Nice to see you. I'm glad you joined me today. So, what we want to make sure of is that we have a clear picture of what perfection really is and what it is not. And so we're going to look at that a little more closely. Hello there, Rosanna Lucius King. Love you. That's my aunt, you all. So I have to give her a special shout out. That's my aunt. Love you. So let's talk about that a little bit. What perfection is and what perfection is not. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about your holiday. Think about your holiday. And this is, let me get this banner off so you can see that a little more clearly. Okay. So this is just something that I put together. When we're talking about perfection, I want you to think what a perfect holiday looks like for you. Not what it looks like in the magazines, not what social media says it's supposed to look like, not what you think the Joneses next door, what it looks like for them, but what does it look like for you? So if you have a piece of paper or a tablet, or even your phone or a tablet, I want you to answer this question. I want you to be brutally honest, okay? I want you to be very honest with yourself. What is your picture of perfect? What is your picture of a perfect holiday? And write down anything that comes to mind. What does a perfect holiday look like? And just make a list. Just make a list of what a perfect holiday looks like. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. Just write down, what does a perfect holiday look like? Okay, so you have some thoughts about what a perfect holiday looks like. Now, think about your list, the one that you've written or the one that you have in your head, because I know I didn't give you a whole lot of time. Look at that list. How realistic is that? How realistic is that list? Is it really realistic for you? Do you really think you can go to 5 different events over the holiday season where 2 of them are on the same day at the same time? What's realistic? What makes sense for you? What makes sense? Now, when you do this, really take the time to do this. I want you to then shift your perspective, shift your expectation from what is ideal to what is possible. What is actually possible? What are you capable of doing or able to do during this holiday season? And I've listed an example. Sometimes we think that a perfect holiday means that everybody should be happy and feel relaxed and everybody should get along, right? But that may not necessarily be realistic. It may be more possible that there's probably going to be a mixture of stressful moments along with moments of joy. That's a little more realistic. So we shift our expectations from the what is not as likely to what could be. The next thing, after being brutally honest with yourself, I then want you to prioritize. And I want you to be ruthless as you prioritize, okay? I do. I want you to be ruthless. I want you to, that to-do list that you have, all those activities that you have, I want you to cut that down to maybe 2 or 3 that you will genuinely enjoy. And then I want you to focus on what matters, what really matters. When our girls were younger, we used to bake cookies. We would bake cookies every holiday until they didn't want to do it anymore. We'd get the kitchen all messy. The kitchen table would be covered with flour. My mom would come over. We'd have her come over and she'd help us bake cookies. That to me was perfect. There was a lot of cleanup. There was a lot of mess, but we loved it because we were together. So think about what matters to you. What's more important to you? Focus on those things that fill you with joy and set realistic expectations as well as realistic standards for yourself. Okay. What do you think about that? What do you give me some comments about what you actually think about what we were sharing, what I shared just then. Drop it in the comments. And for those of you who are watching the replay, you can still drop it in the comments. I want to hear what you're saying, okay? Just drop it in the comments. What do you think about those ideas and setting realistic expectations, because perfection is a myth. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is, and again, these are actions that will help you regain control over the holidays. So the next thing that we want to talk about and emphasize is your body is not a battery. Okay, so think about your car. Okay, so your car, when you start your car, You expect it, you expect the alternator and your spark plugs to give that spark to the battery, right? I think that's how it works. The alternator gives a spark to the battery kicks in, and then the spark plugs start sparking your engine. I think that's how that goes. I think it is. Your body is not a battery. Your body is not a battery. What do I mean by that? It's not a bottomless is not a battery. It's not a oh wait, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me correct that. Your body, what is it? Oh, your body is a battery. I got that all wrong. You know what? That's rushing. That's what rushing will do for you. Here, let me fix that. I'm going to fix it. Da-da. Your body is a battery. Okay. Your body is a battery. It's not a bottomless well. We have these springs of water, and they constantly fill each other. And it's like when you dig a well, the water is always there. You don't have to worry about your well going dry, because you've dug a well that's very deep, and it's into the reservoir, or the aquifer. I think the aquifer. But your body is a battery. Okay, now we can think about the car, right? So think about your car. And if you live in a cold place in the winter, cold will drain your battery to the point where when you try to start your car won't turn over until you get a jump, until they jump your battery and recharge your battery. Think of your body in the same way. Your body needs things in order to recharge, right? You need to be recharged. So let's talk about that a little bit. And yes, I do have something put up, but I'll put it up in 1 second. First of all, energy is a finite source. We do not run off of infinite energy. We have to replenish that energy. It's like we have to put gasoline in our car. We have to recharge our car. If it's an electric car, we have to recharge it, plug it up. If batteries in our phones have to be recharged, batteries in other devices have to be either recharged or replaced. Our body is like that. We don't want to replace our body, but we do want to keep it full of energy. The tendency, however, is that when we are going through the holidays, we don't take good care of ourselves. We are running on empty because there are a lot of disruptions. Now, what am I talking about when I'm talking about disruption? We don't get enough sleep. That's number one. A lot of times we're not getting enough sleep even during the year, but during the holidays, we're probably not getting enough sleep because we have company over, or we're going to parties and events, and we're staying out late. And because of that, we're not getting enough rest. So we want to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep nightly. 7 to 8 hours of sleep nightly. If you're an older person like me, you may need a little bit more. You may need a little bit more sleep, but we want to make sure that we're getting enough sleep. If we don't get enough sleep, our bodies, it runs our bodies down. Sleep is the time when our bodies actually repair. Our body repairs itself. It repairs itself during sleep. Also, it's the time when it replenishes all of the energy that we've used during the day. So we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of sleep. When we don't have enough sleep, we are on edge, we are stressed, and we're unable to regulate our emotions. It's very, very important. We need to be rested in order to regulate our emotions. The other thing is our diet. Do you eat a lot of sweets? Who eats a lot of sweets during the holidays? I ate lots of sweets last year during the holiday. And I actually gained, I had lost a lot of weight. I've been working on it. And I actually gained 10 pounds over the holidays, and it stayed for half of a year. I'm just now getting back to where I was last year this time. I'm not going to do that again. But the idea that I'm trying to stress is that when we eat a lot of sweets like cakes and pies and cookies, ice cream, when we drink alcohol, especially those mixed drinks, there's a lot of sugar in those mixed drinks. And when we eat a lot of processed foods, it does not help our bodies because we're not getting the nutrients that we need to stay healthy. The other thing is when we eat a lot of sweets, drink a lot of alcohol, especially those mixed drinks, it causes our blood sugar to spike. And then we have low dips too. Our blood sugar spikes and then it crashes. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you have a chronic condition such as diabetes or if you're pre diabetic. You want to make sure that your blood sugar levels are maintained for the most part. Okay. The other thing, when we're not eating properly during the holidays, we're sluggish. We feel sluggish, we're tired, we're irritable, and in other words, it affects our mood as well as our energy. So it's very, very important for us to that, maintain our body and maintain our health during the holidays. So during the holidays, what I want to ask you to do, encourage you to do, is to keep your battery charged. Schedule and prioritize sleep. And what I mean by that is stick to it, schedule a bedtime, and then stick to it. Whether that is 10 o'clock, if your scheduled bedtime is going to be 10 o'clock, go to bed at 10. Be in bed at 10. You don't want to just start getting ready to go to bed at 10. You want to be in bed at 10. Also, plan to intake healthier foods. Make sure you're keeping healthy snacks next to the sweet treats that are probably on your kitchen counter. Pack healthy snacks when you're on the go. Just take them with you when you're on the go. Also, if you know you're going to be drinking alcohol or alcoholic beverages, drink a glass of water between those beverages or the alcohol. Make sure you're well hydrated because you don't want to be dehydrated. That's also not a good thing. So you want to be well hydrated. In terms of movement and exercise, schedule a 15-minute dance party with your family. Just put on some music and just dance for 15 minutes. You'll probably dance a little longer, but how much fun is that to dance with your family? Also, go for a walk after a meal. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, just go for a walk. Get out in the nice crisp air if it's cool. This is how you can keep your battery charged. Again, what do you think about that? Tell me. I want to hear. Drop it in the comments. I'm looking. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I love this one. You're going to love it too. The next one is no. No is a complete sentence. There doesn't need to be any explanation. No. How about that? Well, let's talk about it a little bit. So, no is really a tool. Oftentimes we think it's a weapon, and sometimes it's perceived as a weapon, but it isn't. It's not a weapon. It's a tool. It's a tool that protects you. It protects your time, it protects your energy, and it also protects your sanity. Yes? Yes. It's the word we use for protection. We're so conditioned to accommodate others and what others want. And because of that, it's often hard for us to say no, even when we want to. And what we sometimes do is we avoid saying no because it makes us uncomfortable. But saying no is very important to our being able to get through the holidays without losing it. Remember, our value is not tied to our availability. Our value is not tied to our willingness to please others. Our value is in ourselves. Okay? So we want to do a couple of things around this. We want to be able to set boundaries. And I've talked about setting boundaries. Excuse me, I talked about setting boundaries last week. I'm trying to get my mug. I'm sorry about that. I talked about setting boundaries last week. So if you go look at the replay from last week, and I covered boundary setting. But boundaries, I said last week that setting a boundary is drawing a line to protect your own peace. And it's not a wall to punish others. We sometimes think that when we set a boundary, it's a wall that's used to punish other people, but it's not. A boundary is setting a line. We're drawing a line to protect ourselves. The other thing that we want to keep in mind is that we're not responsible for how other people respond or react. They're responsible for their own reactions to the boundaries, not us. We're also not responsible for managing other people's disappointments. That's their responsibility. And remember, people who genuinely care about you are going to respect and honor your limits. When you set limits, those who care about you will respect them and they will honor them. So let's look at that. Here's your task: how to say no graciously and firmly. And I've given you examples. You can say no in a short way. You can be short, kind, with finality. So if you have an invitation that you don't want to accept, what you can say is, thank you so much for thinking of me. That won't work out for our schedule this year, but I really hope you have a wonderful time. You've just said thank you. You've shown appreciation for the invitation. You've stated that it won't work for you this year. You've set a boundary and you've wished the other person well. You can also be very direct and polite. Let's say you have a request to take on some task. You can say that I appreciate your asking, but I can't take on any new commitments right now. Again, it's direct, but it's also polite. How about not asking permission? We don't have to ask permission to set a boundary, but we can tell people what our decision is. For example, if you're feeling stressful about family get-togethers, you can just say, we're simplifying things this year to focus more on rest. We'll be doing, and you can just name whatever you plan to do instead, and we'd love for you to join us for that if you can. Okay? So you're not asking permission, you're just informing of the decision. We're not having a big dinner this year. We're going to order something and we're just going to just play games at home, right? You can join us if you like. Another way to say no graciously and firmly. Let's say that you're being pressured. Somebody pops something on you and you're like pressured. You don't know what to say. All you have to say is, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. That buys you time and it buys you space so that you can think about the answer that you're going to give and think about what it is you really want to do. Again, saying no is a complete sentence. So we have one more, but before I get to that, I want to share one quick thing with you, and I should have had this pulled up before. Here it is. Before we started, but here I want to share this with you. This is the um, free download that I have for you. It's the 7-day stress reset guide. And it's 34 pages. It's 34 pages. I printed it. I printed it just to show you. Yes, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show this to you. It's 34 pages and it takes you over a course of 7 days. It has practical, simple, and powerful techniques for you to try daily. You start by looking at your baseline. What's your baseline stress? That's where it starts. And then you have practices every morning, practices you can do throughout the day, and you do a check-in and a check-out every day for 7 days. At the end of the 7 days, you even take a look at where you were and where you are at the end of the 7 days. So this is on YouTube at that QR code. You can just download it. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It's just there for you. So help yourself. I want you to get through this holiday season, and this can help you. Let's talk about our last thing before. Oh, no, I take that back. This is it. I just did 3. Okay. I know I'm a little discombobulated today. That's because, like I said, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to share. And I'm going to share the rest of it with you next time when we get together. Okay? So make sure if you like what you see, make sure that you like the video, give it a thumbs up, Also, subscribe to YouTube. Oops, there we go. I almost got rid of that QR code, didn't I? I don't want to do that. Subscribe to YouTube. There it is at M.O. Bailey Consultants. In addition to this live stream on Sunday evenings, I also am uploading guided meditations and some other fun stuff for you. So I want to make sure you get all those things to help you to get through the holidays without losing it. Well, I'm so glad that you joined me today. I want you to join me again next time. Again, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and subscribe to M.O. Bailey Consultants on YouTube. That's all for now. Marcyline Bailey, take good care.